All right. While I'm waiting for the what's it called? What was I just watching? The Red Bull League Los Ratones versus T1, which I think is happening in like 2 hours. I will try to get 1 or 2 runs in. So I haven't gotten one posted in a while because I've just not been recording it. But I was trying to play a lot of Armored Core, and ultimately I just don't like playing it because I can't do motherboard stuff, and I think that stuff's the most I feel like that's the most unique thing I could try to do because I never see my opponents do it. So day 1, hour 1, Andy versus Monster Ranch. This is really tough. I think Andy is less valuable on this core than he would be on other cores. On this core, you're really just looking for early game Alpha Ray and Uzi. Like there's like, the other stuff. Like if I hit the rays, the other rays, they're not too good. I mean the gamma ray is okay, but beta ray is not great early game. It's much better later, but just now, since this core is not really doing anything, I think I'd rather go here. And that's an insane high roll. What the heck? Oh, what do I do then? That's because I'm gonna be holding these forever because I'm greedy. Then I choose Fanged Inglet over the other two just because of the chance at a Fang. Because a Fang is a substitute for an Uzi. If I don't find the Uzi, and I do find the Alpha Ray, right? So at least it's like some sort of damage scaling, and this is one of the. It's a low cooldown, small weapon. And besides Uzi, what other options does Dooley have for that? Okay, Curio's a little awkward when I'm only at 3 gold. I'm going to hit borrow so that I can roll aggressively. We'll have to make do with the Omega Ray, which isn't completely terrible. I don't think using these is going to be effective in this fight though, because ultimately if they high roll like Ignition Core, the high roll, you locked in Ignition Core, so you just win. It's like getting cooldown reduction on my board wouldn't have made a difference here. So now, another decision to be made. Same thing here, Andy versus XP. It's, again, kind of tough. That if I skip the XP here, then that means I'm not going to be able to get to level 3 by the end of the day. Unless I see another XP at some point. Which is kind of risky, but I think for the same reasoning as before, I'm willing to skip the Andy. And I'll go for loot because I think early game getting sharpening stone is not too valuable, but it turns out I got the sharpening stone anyway. Now at this point, I do need to fill out my board, so I'm gonna go here and buy pretty much... I was gonna say anything, I think just getting Microdave is really good here. I don't want this guy, and this guy's too slow, but this is fine. At this point, I still don't need to use anything. There's no way I go to Warrior, and my board easily beats Tent City Mayor. And I don't consider... I would never pick the first one. I value both Tent City Mayor and the... what's his name? The Raven. The covetous thief. Covetous thief. The loot from that one and from Tent City Mayor is too good. What's good about it? The skill for Augmented Weaponry, scrap is okay if I get duct tape. Sharpening stone is great. Getting the skill is excellent and is part of why I even held the sharpening stone. So now, what I get to do is, since I am committing to a weapon build, I don't go to this non-weapon shop, and instead I go here for 5 small treats for free. And now I'll look for a weapon, or do I go for the spare change? I'm not going to be able to change my board, so I think what I do here is go for the spare change. Do I really, though? I have 14 gold. I think I go here and roll. I need to find something better. Well, those are excellent. I will still roll. Okay. So, those are way better than Microdave. Do I continue the greed here? I think the rays carry me here. But realistically, what would I want to lower the cooldown of besides what's on the board right now? Like, maybe I could just go all in already. So, if I were to lower the cooldown of something, it could be... There's really nothing. Like, what do I expect to be on the board? It'd be cool LEDs, a metronome, a motherboard, and a small weapon like Uzi, or I end up finding the combat core. I could do that, but that's... But if I full commit to weapons, I guess I could find a pulse rifle, and in that case I would really like to lower its cooldown. So on that note, I'll go halfway. I will use these now, but I'm not gonna get rid of the cooldown stuff. Before I forget, I should put the music on. I think it's way too quiet without it. So this enemy board has no scaling damage, so it's kind of free. Even if his shield goes crazy, the gamma ray just wins the fight on its own. Now, what do I think here? I'm not too interested in buffing my rays, so I'm not getting the poison or burn. I have no friends on the board, and I don't care about income, even with only 4 income. Is that true? Do I actually not care about income? Would I really lose 2 income for 6 damage? There's no way, right? I have to take the income. But it's not that, like, simple. Like, the income is not as important as you'd think. So now the chance of getting a large item to replace what? Do I even want a large item? I don't think so. I think I'd rather get these chocolate bars. Here could be missiles. Harmadillo isn't good enough, but I could get these 2 for now. So now what do I think? Do I fight Scout Trooper? Do I have a chance against Scout Trooper? Do I take out Fang and the Copper Ed for Micro Dave? I don't think so. Maybe though. No, not the Copper Ed's too important. All of the maybe I could position like this, giving up on the beta ray. We'll see. I'm gonna level up anyway, so it's not too important, but it's just a consideration to see if I can even beat this. I don't think I can though, so I'll just go here. The reasoning for this positioning is I have poison and burn scaling, poison and burn friends, and Bomb Squad will kinda charge a decent amount with this positioning, so it gets a lot of burn going. Between these, I'm not interested in medium items, so I have to go for the skill shop. Sharp corners is kinda insane. But so Stoutfire isn't so bad. But well, I could consider this. If I get Stoutfire plus Pyrocarbon plus Motherboard. So first, I've mentioned Motherboard twice. The reason I'm mentioning Motherboard is that item's text says when your core gains haste, give it 10 damage, and it goes up to from 10, 20, 30 at silver, gold, diamond. The text is wrong though. What it really does is it says when you haste, give your core 10, 20, 30 damage. So that is significantly stronger. So now you combine that with Pyrocarbon, which says when you gain burn, haste your items for 1 second. So that means you get, if you have let's say you have the core, Pyrocarbon, that's 4 slots, and then 6 more small items. That means 8 hastes every time you get a burn. And even if you have the lowest tier motherboard, so you have silver, that's every time you gain burn, your core gains 80 damage. That's kind of insane. So now you compare that to Stoutfire, which is only 3 damage. It's not nearly as good. So Sharp Corners is... I mean, I don't have much... none of those, neither of them do anything right now. So, I mean, Sharp Corners technically does something right now, so I have to take that one. It's as simple as that. I'm just selling that item for space so I can get these chocolate bars. And I didn't level up, unfortunately. I still think this board is best compared to what I could get if I put the Beta Ray or Fang in. They have very high cooldowns, so this shouldn't be too problematic. You don't get perma haste going, but they have a Gamma Ray. It was close. My core had to carry that. So if do I think I would have won if I took out Microdave and put in these two? Maybe the Microdave was bait. Anyway, 3 loot items is going to be better than anything else here. And when you have augmented weaponry, you're not allowed to skip the gumball machine. So despite the fact that I'm also putting this is my main source of damage, so I'm reducing its cooldown and putting crit on it. So now, despite the fact that both on the chocolate bar shop and this gumball machine, I was offered a weapon shop, I still have to pick these because it's too important with augmented weaponry. I guess I should also realize if I used one of the feathers, would I have won that previous fight? If the answer is yes, then I've made a big mistake. This is good now. This is good later. I'm gonna go for the one that's good later, because I'd like to remove all of these as soon as I can. I don't have enough defenses to survive against Flame Juggler, so I can't fight it, so I'll go to the Retiree instead. If I had a duct tape, I would have been fine against the Flame Juggler, but my only source of shield is Copper Ed and his cooldown's too long. Oh shoot. I mean, Microdave needs to be next to Bomb Squad. Not Copper Ed in the middle, so I just have to do that. Okay, now small items or this lost crate, based off of what just happened before, I have to take the XP because I don't want to risk not leveling up before the combat. Nitro would have been good if I took Stoutfire. Of course, taking an upgrade, and I think this is better than Bomb Squad. Or actually, it's better than Copper Ed. I think that Bomb Squad next to Microdave is still fairly decent. between all of these. I'm not going to commit to burns. I don't care about the burn cooldown or the cinders. 6 damage isn't great. Appraisal is like, you can never get this. There's always a better option. So like this one is 4 gold, so why would I take 3 gold? Unless I'm mistaken and it's still bronze, but no, it's not. So 4 gold with upside. And also at this point, Copper Ed gets sold because he's not going back in the board, and selling him buffs my core's damage by 1. So I'm at 32 additional damage from Augmented Weaponry by day 4. Do I think the Gamma Ray upgrade was worth it? I mean, I'm not like starving for gold, but it's still debatable if I should have even gotten that. So for the same reasoning as earlier, I'm not going to the non-weapon shop unless I'm looking for something more specific. Like maybe I want to give myself the chance of finding Motherboard at this point. Motherboard, Metronome, and Beta Ray upgrade and Coil LEDs. That's probably worth. Duct tape's okay because of sharp corners. I could consider this since I just got duct tape, so Micro Dave's out.
You are enough, friend. But I'm glad you bought this.
Now I'm quite broke, and there's chocolate bar shop, so I'm definitely going here again. So that's 3 weapon shops skipped, despite having this skill. And I'm not even particularly upset about it, because I can just swap to weapons at any point. And ultimately, I really only care about the damage on the core anyway. So how much did this go up? It went up by 33 from sharp corners? That's pretty decent. Okay, I'm going here, and I'm risking the risky combat. So that was 2 gold wasted for the chance at a combat, which isn't so bad. I say 2 gold wasted because I could have went to the far left for the 2 gold and 1 XP option, and that also could have given me just an item without XP, which is the other risk involved. Or a combat I couldn't have beaten, like the Lich. Okay, anyway. The only things I'd consider upgrading are the Beta Ray or the Core. The other ones are not important to me. Otherwise, 3 loot, which is important to me, so I'll do that one. Then I think I'll give myself another shot at finding a motherboard. I would take Carl if I had a metronome. But since I don't have a source of haste, it's not worth. So now what do I think? Do I just cut my losses and use these now, or do I think I'm strong enough to beat a Vanessa who has 0 wins? I think I should be fine. My board is still decent. That's actually a lot of damage. Like if I weren't as strong as I am, like this wouldn't have been that weak of a board. But my rays carry too hard. Between these, small and medium items are all I'm looking for, so Quixel is not too bad. There's a world where I don't buy this, in case I see things too expensive in the shop after I roll, but I think it's alright. Uzi's a big upgrade, since it's going to have 42 damage.
Okay, now sell me something.
I'm probably going to... I think I take out... Nitro, since Nitro's killing me. And it risks killing me more than, like, more than it hurts the opponent. Now, the only thing I'd be interested in here is missiles, and it's very unlikely because there's no roll, so it's not worth doing. I could go here to put 5 or 10 damage on my core, or I can just go here to not spend any gold and sell for 1 damage. I think I go here for the 5 damage and I get rid of the nitro. For the 10 damage, I mean.
Try Barcoon. He needs to get his numbers up or something.
There is no chance I beat the Lich with this board. I would have needed I would have needed haste on my board in order to do it. Haste and mostly weapons. So there was a world where, I mean, let's see, because I think I die in like 8 seconds there. Maybe like 13 seconds. So like here, I believe that fight took around like 11 to 12 seconds. So I would have needed to deal double the damage that I just dealt there. Between these, core cooldown is hard to say no to. It's early enough that I would be willing to trade health to put crit on the core.
There is much we can give you, but much we
The double bow, when I have augmented weaponry and all this cooldown reduction, might also not be that bad. But I have higher aspirations than that, so I'd rather just go for the crit on the core. I'd rather take the shop than the shield skills. I already have sharp corners. There's really no other shield skill I'd be looking for. I'll take this because it's so cheap to just buy and sell for 1 damage. Do I think I need to use a feather to beat a Dooley? I think my health is low enough to where it's kind of scary, but I also think that this, with this getting deadly, is enough of a power spike that I still shouldn't need it. I think they'll have like 1500 health. Ooh, they have haste though, and they saw my board. Alright, so then I instead say, did I have a chance if I took the cooldown reduction? Actually, maybe. Like, all I would have needed is two attacks with this? Maybe even less. Maybe if I got a little more attacks, like an attack with these 3 and like a little bit faster scaling, I probably did have a chance. Do I sacrifice 10 damage for a potentially really good slow item? That's a tough ask. I think the answer is no. I think it's a gumball every time. I'm only gonna take those shops if I am not offered insane scaling. Like here. The only thing I'm offered is regeneration, money, or haste items. I'll now go here and look for metronome or motherboard.
Serious speed ups. And
Or neither.
I get it. Time costs money.
Now this becomes a little bit tricky. There's no way I could beat Shock Trooper. It's possible I don't even beat Thug. They have... I mean, the main problem is how low my health is. So the question is... Well, the fight lasts long enough, and I do scale. I think I'm fine. They have like 1800 or 1600? Only 1600. So like I nearly got through to that poison opponent. This guy's nowhere near in strength to that, so I'm fine, right? Plus this doesn't deal nearly as much as you'd think since I have such low health. Thieves Guild Medallion is excellent. 9 damage on my core or 3 damage. Believe it or not. Oh, actually, I only have 2 spaces. If I'm true to what I'm saying, that I only care about damage on my core, I should probably take this one, huh? I really don't want to sell anything. I'm doing this one then. Ah, shoot. Okay. Now what? This gets really awkward. So... do I have to skip chocolate bars? No, I think what I do is I use this Thieves Guild Medallion now to reroll the shop and give me more space. The vault gives me a lot of damage. And potentially something good, but if not, just a lot of damage. Don't really care about the gold because I had plenty anyway. Alright, now finally a weapon shop.
Few warriors live to retire.
And it gives me combat core and alpha ray and Harmadillo with ductate. Okay. Now this is a board. I might... So like here. This is always out. This is always out. Taking you.
Use it well. Make me proud.
I think Fang is going to be hard to fit on the board. Taking you.
Newful teaches stillness. I prefer
We need to do something like this. Or maybe this. No, probably this. Then we have one more space. I don't know, maybe the combat core doesn't fit until he's why does it say I have no space? That's weird. I must have something on my board that I don't realize. So where's the ghost
Go make some
item?
more stories, then come back and tell me.
There is no
Carrying
ghost
that
item.
weapon? I fight alongside you.
Pulse rifle? Okay, I know I just bought the combat core. It's getting sold.
Use it well. Make me proud.
Because now we do this. And I think the beta ray is better than Fang here. I will look for non-weapon items in case I find a motherboard still. Pyrocarbon. Pyrocarbon's good tech. And... Alright, Fang I don't think is ever coming back. I want this. I wanted to also consider the first Aiden. How can I consider the first Aiden? I think that Bronze Omega Ray is not coming back. Then I get to roll. Not interested in any of these. Okay. Against a Dooley that has undefeated. Pyrocarbon without motherboard isn't good, so it's only being held for when I get motherboard. I think this is an acceptable situation to use the feathers, because I think I could potentially end on this, on a board, if not this board, then something close to this. And I did say I was holding for pulse rifle anyway, so use the higher numbers first. Apparently that's the correct thing to do. So that's almost a full second on pulse rifle, 1.5 on Harmadillo. That's kinda insane, isn't it? I think Gamma Ray's also not coming back, although 3.9 seconds is not bad, but I still think it's not coming back. But I don't have to sell it. For 1 damage, I don't think I have to sell it. So now we get to see just how impactful the Harmadillo is. And if I could have done better, I don't think so. I think this is fine. And yeah, I do think the combat core would have been too slow. So now, definitely chocolate. There's no large items I want. I always go to Zara. This is the best shop by a long shot. Mixed message is so good. If I get motherboard, I still pivot to remove most of my weapons, because mixed message is insane.
The key to moving faster is seeing around the distance.
It's even here, it's not terrible. Like, considering I have no haste, I'll get a little bit. The damage goes up so fast. Okay, definitely the loot items. I'm always reducing the core's cooldown and giving crit to the core. Unless I mean, at this point, maybe it's not necessary though. Definitely slow skills. Reason this skill specifically. Burn skills versus weapons. I don't really need weapons anymore. Burn skills could give me overclocked. There's a world where I could put burn in just for this purpose. And I think I'm really strong, so the only thing, I don't know, what can I lose to? Brick Buddy, that's what I could lose to. If it's too fast. But it was not. They have, if they didn't have Walter Cooler and instead had QLEDs, they probably could win that. Weak points too slow for my build. How much would I value going here to find motherboard or QLEDs versus just sticking to my board and continuing to get augmented weaponry? I think it's still the augmented weaponry. I think it's still the same idea. Also, I don't need these. I'll still keep first aid in though. I'll still consider going to shops like that if I have something like this where there's nothing significantly impacting my scaling. So then between these two, this has the best odds of giving me motherboard. Scrap metal is okay. I can afford to roll. Chrono Barrier is interesting. So this is probably what I upgrade at level 11. So I'm going to buy it instead of holding that pyrocarbon. I know this offers a good skill, but it's too unlikely. I'd rather just get more XP. I should check the positioning if I... Nah, Uzi's too quick, there's no way. Well, I don't know, what if the Uzi being... I mean, what if the Harmadillo instead of the pulse rifle being next to the duct tape's better? Probably not. Core cooldown is better than everything else. The other ones don't do anything. Maybe the core... Could there be a world where the core is activating faster than the Uzi? Probably not. Maybe though. I'm completely broke. I could technically buy a shield skill like defensive stance if it's cheap enough. Heavy metal is good enough. I think, oh, 2.3 second first Hayden is a tough sell. Do I get rid of Beta Ray though? I don't think I could even get rid of Beta Ray. I think it's too important for the charging. Just to make sure I go as fast as I can. So what else would get sold? It's really nothing. Like maybe Harmadillo, like what, I guess I could look at it this way. What's how is Chrono Barrier getting on the board? I'd have to sell Harmadillo and get rid of one other thing in order to put first Aiden in. Unless I get rid of Pulse Rifle, which is very unlikely. I don't know. I think... it... Oh, no, there's no way I get rid of the first Aiden. Okay, this is really tough. What do I think? Maybe I should say that the Chrono Barrier is bait. Or maybe I say the skill is bait. I think I'll go with that option. I think I won't take the skill. Because that skill's fairly low impact anyway. I think everything else, I think selling any of my items there would have been a big mistake. Like limiting my pivot options. So this is important because of its charging so much. This 3-second cooldown pulse rifle is like pre-nerf pulse rifle is insane. 1.6 Uzi is insane. Alpha ray scaling everything whenever the core is firing, which is firing like crazy because it's a machine gun at this point with all of my low cooldown stuff. This is too important. So maybe it's the beta ray after all, but the beta ray is also probably charging an insane amount. So I think in the PvE I'll actually look at how often the beta ray is triggering and see if I should just replace that. I don't think I go for items anymore though. Alright, so I said I'd upgrade Chrono Barrier here, so I'm doing it. And now I have to... I won't do it this fight, I'll wait till next... this fight meaning I'm going to measure this fight to see which is most impactful. Having no slows here is scary, but I think I have enough burst to where I'll lower their health enough before they can one-shot me. Maybe I'm completely mistaken, because they will be able to use this in like 7 seconds. So I need to get them past half. Okay, yeah, I do have slows. Where's the slows coming from? Is that all from duct tape? I didn't even look at the beta ray. I was too concerned about potentially losing the fight. It's alright. I'll determine based off my opponent whether I need to put Chrono Barrier in. If it's a pig or Dooley, I'll think about it. If it's a Vanessa, I think I just race them with my current board. Do I go here? I just don't really want to sit through it. I'd rather not. But it is a lot of gold. It'd be kind of foolish not to. Alright, we'll go here.
Feel like hitting something?
Because the other options weren't really good. So, one problem is Beta Ray's not freezing anything, but it does still activate. Yeah, Beta Ray activates like... Okay, yeah, the core is way faster than the Uzi, by the way. So core is way faster than I thought. And Beta Ray is also really fast. So once duct tape goes next to the core, the Harmadillo is activating like crazy. Which means it's even possible that it goes core and okay, so this change happens for sure. I think I'll just go for health. The other options weren't amazing. So this is a big upgrade. And then I have to consider, so Beta Ray fired way faster than I thought. I'm against a Dooley though, but they're a weak Dooley, whereas I'm really strong. So I guess another thing to consider is if maybe the core was so fast only because the Uzi was causing the Harmadillo to activate as much as it was, but I still think the core is faster. This is technically charging every second, so I think this has to be the play. Could Chrono Barrier go in? I think I think I slow myself down too much by doing that. I don't think it's worth it. Let's see. He's giving me a ton of crit with this skill, which is very bad for him. Okay. Well, I just melt my opponents. So that was definitely the positioning difference there. At this point, I'm going here just for XP probably, unless I want to see what this is. It could be something fun. I heard this item's bugged. Let me check to make sure. Vanessa's amulet. It's broken. It does not give crit. So let's see. If I put this on the board. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. So you get sold for damage. Between these, there's an argument for a temporary boost, but I'd rather a permanent 1 damage. And it's always veteran octopus. So let's see how, I just want to see how, what's the quickest thing now? Could Beta Ray be faster than Pulse Rifle? I can't tell because the fight goes too quickly. Core cooldown is always going to be insane. It's always going to be eating contest here. Then I'm probably just taking the health. Now this is a strong Dooley. I still think I'm faster. Just based off of what I've been seeing in my fights, I think it's very hard for me to lose. Unless they have Bonk and Chrono Barrier, I don't see myself losing. It's just too fast, this board. Lifesteal? I mean, I don't think I need it. It doesn't go on the core since it has deadly. Oh, the core's charging itself. That's what's happening. So when you crit with any item, every time this attacks, so it's a 2.5 second cooldown. That's the thing I was missing. Okay. Anyway, Harmadillo versus Pulse Rifle. I think Harmadillo is gonna be activating more frequently. In fact, I want to try this for a turn. I'll take a little bit more damage scaling. Okay, let's see this. My damage doubled. If I weren't... Eclipse is sick, but... You know what? I might be able to put it on the board. Like, if I do this... It's just a slight delay, 3-second start, but once it starts, everything should still be a machine gun. But I don't know. I think I feel like it's too... So the upside is everything is double damage. I mean, like more than double damage. The downside is I lose scaling, and the scaling was I'd still do get sharp corners. Sharp corners might have just been... No. Sharp corners is effectively the same as alpha ripe. I still do have some scaling. I think I'll try it for a fight.
Actually, I'm human.
Give me... Ah. This mixed message doesn't do anything anymore. If it gave me when you use the core haste, that would have been amazing.
Place and time are only suggestions.
You're
They can
out.
ignore them.
First Aiden. I can't put first Aiden on the board, sadly. Okay, so am I really going to use the Eclipse? I think I have to. I think I have to. Have to meaning I can't not try it. Even though I'm risking losing, I can't not try it. Oh, my core froze. And I'm slowed. I have lifesteal, but the slows are owning me. Oh. Well, the Eclipse used all my items. So it just worked out. Well.
I pay well for mid-size.
I'm just gonna buy the small items. I have Quelly D's. I think I have to switch to the Quelly D's.
Maybe I can resell.
No, I don't. Righty tighty means I'm already slowing the whole enemy board, right? I don't need the Quelly D's.
I've got 4 legs because I carry this company.
I take the XP so that I could get an enchantment and potentially put that on the Eclipse. Yeah, Quelly D's. We'll hold it. So let's see. Last time I beat this easily. How about this time? I mean, it is similarly fast. It is a little less scaling. Okay, what does crit on the Eclipse do? The Eclipse, it cannot crit. That's a shame. Shielded is 240, which is really weak. Heal, okay, so enchantments on the Eclipse are really weak. So I can only enchant Pulse Rifle. I could go with Shield or crit on the Pulse Rifle. Shield is only 30, that's pretty weak, but it does mean a lot more scaling, so I think it is Shield on the Pulse Rifle. That makes up for the loss of scaling.
People say, "Don't get
Sharp
so
corners?
defensive for this."
Of course. More gold tier skills. Give me... This isn't bad. That's more damage scaling. I don't have any freeze. Wait, I don't have haste. This skill does nothing. Oh, I guess I do have haste after 4.7 seconds. Wait, slow. No, non-weapon, haste, freeze. That's what it is. So technically that means I get haste to core, otherwise righty tighty, or is more damage scaling always. I mean, it's overkill for sure. But I like I like overkilling. For sure. So the only way I lose, I believe, is if my whole board is frozen. Otherwise, the Eclipse guarantees I win. Even if they were able to get me to half health, but yeah, that's way too much damage. So I am definitely glad I greeted all those feathers. I'm just I feel like I could have held off on some of them. But yeah, I don't know. That was crazy.